Please help us to get more people enjoying our videos by liking, sharing and commenting below. This is one of the most complex group of fly boxes that we have videoed. The founder of Cummins was William John Cummins. He was a printer by trade and a keen angler, and he opened the fishing tackle and print shop in 4 Bond Gate, Bishop Auckland in 1857. The enterprise was successful, and in June 1862 he started the Bishop Auckland Times, and on the front page of the first issue was an advert for W.J. Cummins. Has a large assortment of flies for the weir and the teas. The business was successful, and in 1863 he moved to larger premises at 53 Marketplace, Bishop Auckland. Sadly, by 1896 William was forced by failing health to relinquish control of the business. He died aged 64 in 1897. After William's death, management of the company moved to his son Alfred Philip Pip Cummins, who proved to be as successful a businessman as his father and ran the firm for a further 53 years. With the new century came new premises, and they opened in 1900 at 13 Newgate Street. At the start of the First World War, Pip and his brothers joined up and were commissioned as officers in a local regiment. Sadly, Pip was severely wounded. However, at the end of the war, he managed to retain sufficient health to continue managing the firm. Pip's death in 1950 was the start of the decline of the company. In 1951, it changed its name. 2 years later, in 1953, the fishing tackle side was sold. The owners continued with the business, and the name became Cummins of Bishop Auckland Fishing Tackle Limited. In 1955, as a response to many requests, a showroom was opened in Darlington. The rod works remained at Bishop Auckland, but a year later closed. The business was transferred to Darlington, ending an association with Bishop Auckland that had lasted almost 100 years. Cummins continued to trade in Darlington until 1969 and then closed. The printing works, which had remained in the hands of the Cummins family, continued to trade until 1973. There are 2 address strips, one for Bishop Auckland and the other for Darlington, which was used much later. The very earliest of these boxes are found without a logo on at all, possibly dating from 1908 to 1910, when Wheatleys were experimenting with aluminium boxes and buying in the aluminium boxes as required. The pads are then glued in and not riveted as the later boxes, with a depth of 7/8 of an inch. Later the box would become an inch deep. This box is unusual that it has the lozenge logo on both the lid and the base. The box is also fitted with Richard Wheatley made tweezers. The Cummins Unthank Fly Box number A can be found with no logo, the lozenge logo, the large Made in England logo and the small Made in England logo. The boxes may have Made in England on the fillet and Silm alloy on the base. The named Xylonite strip can be found on the left or the right. The tweezers can be Richard Wheatley made tweezers, not have been a replacement over the long period of the use. Occasionally they are found with the Cummins transfer printed logo. The Cummins Unthank Box C is found with a pigskin flap, which would have originally contained traces or leaders. There are 2 varieties found, one with the tweezers on top of the flap and one with the tweezer loop at the bottom of the flap. These are only found with the Cummins Unthank Bishop Auckland address strip. Box C can be found with no logo, the lozenge logo with Made in England on the fillet, and the large Made in England logo, with or without the silm alloy on the base. The original box was 7/8 of an inch deep, followed by a box that was 1 inch deep. There is also a 4-inch version of the Unthank box. Again, the address strip may be found on the right or the left, and the pads are either riveted in or glued in. These boxes can be found with the lozenge logo and the small Made in England, with or without the silm alloy on the base. The 6-inch 5/8 of an inch deep box is unusual in that all the pads are glued in and not riveted. This box can be found with its address strip on the left or the right, and it can be found with the Bishop Auckland or with the Darlington address strip. This box is found with the lozenge logo or the small Made in England logo. Those with the Darlington address strip are all found with the small Made in England logo. The Cummins Unthank Fly Box with the Darlington address strip is a much more difficult to find than that of the Bishop Auckland address strip, as the Darlington branch was only open for a few years.